I think we get started. So hello, everybody. Welcome to our November 19th webinar. Um, Today we have a special guest. We have Katie Smith, who manages our construction and draw department. She's going to talk about the draw process a little bit, how to make customers happy, right? Getting draws quicker, and some things that we can do on the front end to give the borrowers a little bit better experience through that draw process. Before we do that, though, we do have a few updates that are coming out, and we wanted to bring up on the call. And obviously, at the very end of the call, we're going to do a Q&A. So make sure you stay on. If you have questions that you think of during the call, you can always put them in the comments section. Just put it in the chat, and then we'll open up Q&A at the end. Let's go ahead and get started. Sharing our PowerPoint. We're going to talk about the rehab process, and we're going to talk about some cool guideline changes and enhancements that are coming out within, some that have already released and some that are coming out shortly. So first and foremost, happy holidays, everybody. We had a fantastic month last month. It was the best month that the third-party origination channel has ever had at Templeview Capital. So thank you for everybody on the call for closing loans with us and continuing to close loans with us. This month's going to be harder because it's shorter. We have holidays, which is always a good thing. Next week, we're going to be closed on the 27th and the 28th. And just to note that we're aware that title companies might close early on Wednesday, the 26th. So if title companies are closed or insurance companies are closed, it could be really hard to close deals on the 26th. So we'll be working. We'll try our best, but it's going to be really important that we hit our clear to closes as soon as we possibly can with loans in our pipeline. Ideally, if we get those clear to close this week, much better chance that we can get those files scheduled and closed. Obviously, we'll do whatever we can, or best we can, to close any loans that come through the end of the month. But just be aware, it's a shorter month, 17 business days this month compared to last month when we had 23. So there's going to be a few, it's going to be harder to close as many loans as we want to. One of the first big changes that we're coming out with, and I think this is going to make everybody incredibly happy, is we're updating our authorizations and our disclosures. So we had a number of forms that you had to upload on every single file, including a non-owner occupancy disclosure, the appraisal disclosure, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, and the borrower signature authorization. All of those forms are going to be combined into a single document with one signature. That's going to make it a lot easier for you. You don't have to, get one big application signed and then separate out the docs. There's still going to be a file for the application, and then right under it, it's going to be the disclosures, right? So it will be a template rather than accepting your own application, so you don't have to separate those out. At this point, the disclosures will become a required document, but it will replace everything in the portal. That document's going to be ready, and by the end of the week, it's going to be uploaded to our portal in the Documents tab. In addition to that, the document requirements are going to be updated on your portal. So you'll go from uploading those 5 documents to just one. This is an example of the disclosure, so you can see it kind of handles everything. The authorization, Equal Credit Opportunity Act, Declaration of Non-Owner Occupancy, the appraisal, and the acknowledgement and agreement. It's a super simple form. There's not even that many fields. The borrower's name, the entity name, social security number, date of birth, the name of your company, and then the signature and date. The second big change that we went live with, and this is live now, and you can actually access this, and you've been able to access it, so hopefully you've been getting our emails, is we've updated our rehab budget. We've talked to clients, we've talked to TPOs, and we've talked to a number of different people in the industry, and we had a very complex budget. The reason our budget was complex, as everyone here knows, we excel at major construction, we excel at ground up construction, and very complicated programs. That's where ours was born from. However, that's tough, right? It was a very complicated form, and not only did we have 165 fields, but it was also 5 or 6 different rows. Or different columns. We had different clients, complaining that the borrowers couldn't understand. One of the big things that we'll go over today with Katie is that, we talked to a lot of third-party originators, a lot of people on the call, and you guys were saying that, you don't even show the borrowers the budget. You just get their budget and you're transposing it to our form. That ends up stinging, right? Because you might mistranspose something or misunderstand a line item, and then your borrower is not getting the right experience post-close. So we really want your borrowers to fill out these forms. So we made it so much easier. It's about 95 total rows, but it's broken up into different sections. And some of the enhancements there were, instead of listing out each and every bathroom that the borrower is updating, it's just one bathroom section, right? If they're going to update the flooring in the bathroom, they're going to update the flooring in all of their bathrooms, right? So we updated that to make it a lot easier. It's going to be way easier for your borrowers to understand and enter in. For the time being, you could still use the old budget, right? So it all goes to the same place. It's okay if you use the old budget. However, we do want you to migrate to the new one. It's easier. We want you to give it to your borrowers. We want them to be responsible for filling it in. That way, it makes sure that they're getting the draws that they need and that their budget was broken out correctly. So this is an example of the budget, and you can see there's 3 columns instead of the 7 or 8 that we used to have. The first column is just the line item. The second column is the dollar amount. And then the third column is any comments that they have about it. If they want to give us any breakdowns or any comments, they can do it there. And then in addition, there's still going to be open fields at the bottom where they could put anything that's not listed there that they can't find that they need the line item for. Changes coming soon. These are also some big changes that we're working on that are going to allow us to close loans quicker. First and foremost, we're accepting quotes for CTC on homeowners insurance. So that's live as of today. If you have deals and you're waiting to get your insurance bound so you can get that CTC and get it to the closing table, that's no longer a requirement. You can just get that quote into us. We will get it done at closing. Just know that it does have to be bound for the closing. We can't close the loan and then have the insurance bound at a later date. So it's important that it gets bound. But it's going to make loans go through quicker, right? We don't have to wait for the binder. As long as your quote was approved, we're going to move forward. The other major change here is our insurance requirement. If you were dealing with any major construction or ground up construction loans with TVC, you might have noticed that our requirements that used to be give us an insurance that covered the loan amount or the appraisal costs new, whatever's lesser. We were often getting insurance quotes from insurance providers that were significantly less than those numbers. One of the things that we looked at and why it was so much less is because our loan amount is including the site value of a lot, or including the site value of a property. So whether it's fix and flip or ground up construction, you're going to be able to deduct 80% of the site value from your loan amount, and that insurance quote will work. Alternatively, if that insurance quote still comes in under that lowered number, we can still look at their RCE and potentially approve that. And that is live. So if you have deals today, we might have to mark up the file for it. But if you have any deals today in which we're asking for updated insurance, let us know. We can start working on this today. The next update that's coming is entity review. We've looked at some of our competitors. We've taken some of the advice from some of our TPOs here, and we had a very thorough entity review in which we were opening operating agreements. And what we found there is that our customers were just using operating agreement templates online. They weren't necessarily going to an attorney and having these things done. And oftentimes their operating agreements had conflicts, right? They would name a board of directors or managers, but not tell us who those people were. They might say that somebody's bound to do something and then someone else is bound to do the opposite, and there were conflicting information points. So although our review was very thorough and it was actually a very value add to your customer as they were getting operating agreements that actually made sense after our review if we asked for a revision, moving forward, what we're going to do is we're just going to come up with an upfront document that lists out the borrowers that own the entity, their percent ownerships, and their authorities, and it's going to serve as a corporate resolution to the entity. Your borrowers are going to be able to sign that, and our entity review is going to be able to remove about 90% of what they were doing, allowing us to clear those reviews a lot quicker. Finally, the rehab review. We're updating our rehab review by updating some of our definitions or even widening our boxes for our definitions. The first one is what we consider a cosmetic rehab versus a general rehab. It seemed like we were pushing a lot of loans that were cosmetic in nature into a general rehab bucket, which may have required additional things from your borrowers, like, hey, they need a general contractor's license here. We've recognized those, and what we're going to do is we're going to expand our definition of cosmetic rehab to cover all of those transactions, and we're going to increase our requirement before we ask for something like a general contractor's license or information on a general contractor. So those are not live yet, but those are coming. And what it'll allow you to do is not have to worry about that, right? If you got that cosmetic rehab or a light general, even if the borrower's doing some electrical work, if they're doing some HVAC work or something along those lines, we understand that they could get a contractor out to the property and they don't need a general contractor. So those are going to be coming live. We expect these changes to launch in December. So the goal right now is to get these out first week of December. All right. And then post-close client management. This is something, again, well, we've been talking to a lot of our partners. This is something that they would like. And that's just to provide you more information post-close on the transactions that you have with us. So some of those things that we want to be, making sure is, hey, if I send you guys a report on the 20th of the month about your loan pipeline that you've closed with us and your borrower hasn't made their payment for the month, you should be aware of that. So you can call your customer and make sure that they make their payment, right? If you have a DBP tied to that loan and your borrower misses the payment, you miss out on that income. So rather than just relying on us to handle that, you'll know up front if your borrower has not made their payment yet so that you can reach out and help them service that loan. In addition to that, we're looking into project completion and draw rate. Just something to know, hey, what percentage of the rehab is completed so far on this project that I've closed? Just some kind of idea that your borrower is progressing on their project. Maybe they're almost done and you should be calling them trying to get their next loan in. Anything like that, we're just trying to give you some more robust information in that monthly reporting that we send out so that you know what's going on with your loans and you can help service them even post-close. And then just to introduce Katie, so we have Katie on the call. She's our construction project manager. She manages draws and our construction department. Your borrowers probably have worked with Katie or her team when they're getting their draws. And Katie's here to just talk about some of the issues we find, some of the better ways to service your customers and better plans we have. So I'll hand it off to you, Katie.
Thanks, Brendan.
Yep.
Hey, everyone. Mainly I was coming on for a Q&A, and then I'll just go over a couple of little things on the slideshow, and then I'm here to ask any questions, as I know you guys all have some concept of how the draws work. But here are just some little tidbits about it. So, we have the advanced draws and the reimbursement draws. Some of the things that happen with advanced draws that the bars are unaware is all draws are advanced up to the final draw. And the final draw is a reimbursement of 100% of the completion of the project. So sometimes they feel that everything is 100% advanced in the draw schedule. So that's something that we tell them in our intake messages when they first request a draw. But it's something that you guys may want to let them know that because a lot of the bars are unaware. Um, when we have any major or ground up major rehabs, because we don't usually use advanced draws for ground up. If the permits and plans are included in the first advanced draw, they're usually set to where it's like just releasing the permits and plans portion of the draw in the first draw advancement. Um, we we advance those funds, and then on their second draw coming back, they're going to need to have the permits and plans in place in order to receive their next draw. And so for the reimbursement draws, if they require the permits and the plans in a major or a ground up construction, then they're going to need those permits and plans at the first draw. So that's something that to be aware of. The other thing for reimbursement draws for the final draw, it must be we hold everything we reimburse as is up to the final draw. It has to be 100% complete and inspections passed if required. Otherwise, we hold 5% of the total budget or a minimum of 5,000, depending on which one is the greater. And then we will release that upon completion of the project. Um, the draw schedules. So, Brendan brought it up a little bit earlier. We have a lot of communication with the bars about the draw schedules. A lot of times, the final copy is not signed, or the bars have questions about the actual draw schedule that is uploaded into our system. So just again, please share the draw schedule with them. We can always change things after the fact, but sometimes it's easier to change prior to closing the loan because we also have exceptions before and post closing. So please let them know what the draw schedule is, and then we don't have to have so many calls in the back end about like this is not my draw schedule. So All right, let's see here. Yes, so we have two options when they're requesting the draw through the online portal. You have your TruePick inspection, and then you have an NVMS inspection that we use a vendor to send out. Um, our turnaround times right now are pretty good. They're about 2.5 days. If we are corresponding directly with the bar and they're hands-on, and if they utilize the TruePick. If they have, they can always use a point of contact if they're not like computer savvy or tech savvy. But the TruePick actually helps that turnaround time to get them in. Once they have completed their inspection and it comes back to us, we do have 24 hours to review that inspection. But depending on when they submit it, say if they submit it at like 9 a.m., more than likely we're going to have a response to them same day. If they get it in at like 2 o'clock and they're trying to make a deadline for our ground up construction or major rehabs, more than likely it's not going to be to the next day. But we do try to get all approved on the same day that at least get the communication started that we've reviewed them and to get approval. Um, I think is that it? That's all
Yeah,
okay.
that's it. Is there
So
anything else you wanted to say about the draw process, Katie?
No, I think our turnaround times are there. I think some of the questions that we are here to answer for any bars, any TPOs about about any type of process. But yeah, I'm open to the floor to answer any questions.
Well, hey, before we bring questions up, I just want to say, one, thank you for everybody that joined today. TVC, we're on pace to have our best year. I'm not on pace. We've already broken it. We are having our best year ever. Quarter 4 is actually going to be our best quarter ever. Our files are coming in. We're growing. So a lot of these changes that we're looking at are things they were okay when we were doing less volume, but as we're growing and we're trying to expand, we're coming up against these smaller things, and we need to fix them and we need to make them easier for everybody. So in the spirit of that, you're working with other partners, you're working with competitors to us or other lenders, and you're noticing something that you like that they do that might seem a little bit easier than the way we do it. We're always open. A lot of these ideas, as you heard me say today, came from partners of ours. So we appreciate that. Always let us know when we can improve, and we'll try our best to make that happen. But now I can open it up.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going great. How are you?
Good, good. I had a quick question for you and Katie, actually. Katie, about the draw. You said follow up with our clients on the draw schedule. When you say that, are you talking to like go over the draw schedule after it's been submitted to us? Just kind of go line by line, make sure everything is correct.
Well, we send you the draw schedule, but the draw schedule is in a different format than the rehab budget that you guys submit to us, right?
Hmm.
And it lists out, especially for advanced draws, it's dictating when those draws are going to be released, and it's going to tie it to specific line items. So right now, the TPOs can sign that, right? You don't have the borrower doesn't sign that document,
Hmm.
but we want you to go over the idea of that because your borrower is going to experience that post closing, and we don't want it to
Hmm.
be new information to them, right? So when you get
Got
that
it.
approved draw schedule, we want you to look at it. If you have questions with it, let us know, but talk to your borrower about what to expect on the draws so that when they do get to closing and post close, they know what to expect.
Got it. And if they have questions that we can't answer, don't know the answer to, at that point, will we put them in touch on a call with your draw team to kind of go over any
Almost.
questions, or just get with our account exec to go over
You
any
should you
questions
should
they
call
have
your
with the draw
account.
schedule?
Yeah, first and foremost, you should call your account executive. If it's a
Okay.
post closing thing, then absolutely you could connect them to the servicing side, right? But
Hmm.
I would say never. Your borrower shouldn't really be talking to us at all until post close, right?
Got it. Got it. And for purchase of a vacant lot, right, for a new construction, we're able to go up to 75% of purchase without permits approved. We just can't do the first draw until those permits are approved. Is that correct?
Depending on the project, it depends on the borrower's experience, but there is a limitation of 65% without plans and permits in place for purchases on ground up construction.
Oh, so for ground up construction, you guys will not do 75% of purchase if the permits are not approved.
Well, yeah, typically they're not approved. Sometimes there's instances
Yeah,
where your borrowers are buying properties that already have plans and
right.
permits planned out for them. In that
Yeah,
case, we could go up to 75. And
yeah.
there's some instances depending on the borrower and their experience and how quickly they move and what area they are in. So sometimes it's just something we have to look at.
Okay, so depending on experience, you could potentially go up to 75% of purchase without permits approved.
Yeah, you should work with your AE on that, and he can,
Yeah,
he or she could take a look at it and let you know.
got it. Got it. All right, thanks, guys. That's all I had.
Yep. Tracy, how's it
Hey,
going?
hey, Brendan, man, that is some awesome, awesome changes.
I
That
know,
is
as I said in the beginning, I was excited, it's a
that
good meeting.
you are, and the fact also that we're going to have preview into the life cycle of their loan and their project, and help get their payments, and that they're on track. It's just wonderful. I don't have any actual questions. I just wanted to say how excited I am about all these changes.
Awesome. Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, we're gonna keep them coming, hopefully, right?
Yeah, so this is recorded, but somebody's going to send out that presentation.
Yes. Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Do we have anybody else? I must have been crazy thorough there. I got all your questions out of the way without you guys even having asked. Remember, if you have a question, you could raise your hand with the button, or you could just type it into the chat, and we'll answer it. Doesn't even have to be about the draw process. Any question you got.
I just wanted to add to that. I gotta say it too. I'm super excited about trying this out too. But that's all I got.
Awesome. Good to hear. All right. Well, hey, again, you guys can keep asking questions or present anything, but I do want to say happy holidays on behalf of TVC. We're excited about next week, although it's a shorter week to close loans. That's a great time to spend time with friends and family. So, we're going to be off Thursday and Friday as a reminder. And then, next month is going to be a busy month too, right? With the same kind of restrictions. So good luck to everybody. Hope we finish strong. I hope you all finish strong with your own pipelines. Let us know if there's anything you get there. And remember to get those loans clear to close as soon as you can. There's not much time left. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you.